It's Sarah, and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet what I call my Scrub-a-Dub plastic and crochet scrubbies. Now, I forgot all about these type scrubbies, and I was cleaning out my towel drawer in my kitchen, and one of these fell out that was very, very old and tattered. And I thought, oh, I love these, and I forgot that I used to make them. And so I'm going to show you how I make mine today. And the reason that I love them so much is you have this center that is a plastic scrubby, and then you have the edges that is cotton, and you can scrub out a pan or scrub off the ring around your bathtub, and then you can wipe it off with the outside. And I just love this type of scrubby. You can find the free crochet pattern on my blog, and I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make the Scrub-a-Dub scrubbers, you're going to need a plastic scrubby that you purchase at the store. This is what I purchased, non-stick scrubbers by O Cedar. You get 3 scrubbies in one pack, and I think I paid 99 cents for them, or it might have been $1.99. And I picked these up at my local grocery store. My grocery store here is called King Super, which is Kroger. You can find these at Target and at Walmart, or most anywhere that carries like brooms and scrubbies and things like that. Like I said, it's a 3-pack, and you usually have 3 different colors. Now we're going to use 100% cotton yarns, and these are just some that I have on hand. Yellow, this kind of light blue, and kind of an off-white. And I like to use 3 different colors. This one I've got yellow, green, and orange. And this one, because the center was pink, I did white, light pink, and dark pink. But you can make them to match your kitchen, and I think these are great for making like a set of 3 to give as a housewarming gift or a wedding gift or something like that. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need your scissors and you'll need a needle. Now, as far as the amount of yarn you're going to need, I just pulled some from my scraps, and you're going to need less than an ounce for each color. It takes very little yarn to make these. So we're going to take our plastic scrubby, and we're going to stitch a row of stitches around the edge. I like to look at it and center my hook in, and I'm going to go in and go through some of that meshing, or mesh I should say. We're going to grab our yarn and pull that through, that tail out of the way there, and just join that on. And what we're going to do is we're going to stitch single crochet stitches all the way around, and we need to evenly place 26 single crochets. And so what I like to do is I'll divide it in half. That's 13 and 13. And so what I'll do is I'll stitch 13 and try to get it even to here. And then I'll do the second half instead of trying to do the whole thing at once. And let me explain as I go. So we've joined here. Let's look at the top here. We're going to go in, grab some of those loops, and stitch a single crochet. And this is the hardest part of this, because you want to get your stitches even, and you got to get your hook through that mesh, and it's real important that you go through a couple of those loops if you want your washcloth or your scrubby to hold up. See, I'm going through several of those loops of that mesh. And just stitching single crochets. Went through quite a few of those, didn't I? All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6 and 7. There we go. It's like I got one of those little loops stuck on there. Alrighty, we'll just keep going, working all the way around. And like I said, I'm going to go through, there we go, and stitch my first 13 and make sure that they reach halfway, which would be, let's see, about right here. Make sure the 13 reach halfway, and then I'll do those last 13. And it should go right down the center of the side of your scrubby. So I've stitched those first 13 stitches, and now I need to stitch 13 more. And I think it looks pretty good. It's about halfway, so I'm spacing nicely. So I'm going to continue and stitch the last 13 and then join to my first single crochet so that I have a total of 26 single crochets. So I've stitched those 26 single crochets evenly around my plastic scrubby, lining it up to the center so that I've got scrubby on the front and scrubby on the back of my scrubber, because these can be used either way, front or back. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and join to my first single crochet. Whoops, jumped right out of there, didn't it? There we go, with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 3. Now the rest of this is super easy. That was the hardest part, just evenly single crocheting those 26 single crochets. For row 2, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those 26 single crochets. Our chain 3 counts is our first double crochet, and so we'll stitch 1 double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3. Now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the single crochets around. There we go. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. 2 double crochets in each single crochet, working all the way around our scrubber. And we'll continue this all the way around and join back to our chain 3. So I've stitched my 2 double crochets in each single crochet around. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch, only I'm not going to chain 3. Now if you're not changing colors, you can go ahead and chain 3, but I'm going to change colors. So I'm going to cut off my creamy white yarn there, and I'm going to add in this blue. And it's important to remember that if you're changing colors, you do your chain 3 after the color change. And the reason is, if you did it before, since our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, that first chain 3 or first double crochet would be in the wrong color. It would be white or whatever color your color 1 was. Alright, now for row 3, we're going to stitch 2 more double crochets in the top of that chain 3 stitch so that we have 3 double crochets, because our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So we have 3 double crochets in the 1 stitch. I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to do what I call a stay knot, and I just pull those through together and give it just a little bit of a tug, and then I can weave those in later and it helps it stay where it belongs. All right, so now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then in the next stitch, we're going to stitch 3 double crochets. And this is the way our repeat will work for row 3. Chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then stitch 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So it's 3, 3, 3. I like to give myself little hints to help me remember what I'm doing. So, chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and stitch 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And repeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll continue this on around and join back to our original chain 3. So I've completed my 3, 3, 3, 3 double crochets, 3 chains, skip 3, and repeat all the way around, and you're going to have 13 sets. All right, so here's my last chain 3. I'm going to join to the top of that chain 3 and chain 3. For row 4, we're going to be stitching a solid row of double crochets. So our chain 3 here counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in the next double crochet and double crochet in the next. So we've double crocheted in each of those 3 double crochets. Then that brings us to our chain 3 space, and we're going to stitch 3 double crochets in our chain 3 space. There we go. And now we come to our next 3 double crochets, and we'll stitch 1 double crochet in each of those 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then that brings us to our next chain 3 space, and we stitch 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space. And we'll repeat this, working all the way around our scrubby. 1 double crochet in each of the 3 double crochets, and 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space. And that's going to give us a solid row of double crochets working all the way around our scrubby. And once we've done that, we'll join back to our chain 3. I have completed stitching all the way around, 3 double crochets in the chain 3 spaces and 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets. So now I have that solid row of double crochets all the way around. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3, and I'm not going to chain 1 or 3 or anything because I'm going to change colors. So I'm clipping my yarn, and again, you don't have to change colors. I just like changing it into 3 colors. You can do it all in 1 color. You don't have to use solids. You can use variegateds. It's up to you how you want to make yours. I'm going to bring my yellow in, and I like using yellow because there's yellow in my scrubby in the center. All right, let's get these tails out of the way. And for our last row, we're going to chain one, and then we're going to place one single crochet in each of the double crochets around. And I like doing this, I think, by adding this extra little single crochet around. It ties in, of course, the yellow with the yellow, but also it gives it a nice sturdy edge for our scrubby. So I'm just going to work around my whole scrubby, stitching one single crochet in each of the double crochets around. And I'll continue this around till I get back to that first single crochet. I'll join and tie off. I've completed that row of single crochets. I'm going to join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch. I've already cut my yarn, and I'm going to tie off by going in the next set of loops and pulling that loop to the back. Turn this over. There's my loop, and we'll tie off back here. Now I do need to weave these ends in, but this is our completed scrubby, and I'll take a minute and tidy that up. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to wash and dry this particular style of scrubby. So you've bought your scrubbies, you've made them into scrub-a-dub scrubbies, you're doing the dishes, and then you realize they're dirty, or maybe they begin to get a little bit moldy smell. What I do with mine is I run the hot water through the center with some Dawn dish soap or whatever I'm using, dish soap, to rinse it out real good. And then I just toss them in the washing machine with my dish towels and let them wash. Once they're finished in the wash machine, I take them out of the wash machine and I set them on my dryer to dry. They'll be wet, and so you might want to stretch them out a little bit as you lay them out. But that's what I do to wash and dry mine. I know some people who toss these in the dryer and they're fine with that. But when I first had some, when I was first given them, I tossed them in the washer, and when they came out of the dryer, they were all melty and gross. And so I found the best way for me, and again, this is just my opinion, toss them with your dish towels, wash them normally, but don't put them in the dryer. Set them on top of your dryer or in a nice warm place to dry. I'm so excited that I recalled and found this particular pattern because I love it. I hope you'll make some too.